All right. We're live. Peace, peace, peace to the family. This is Brandon B. Dixon, NMLS 1541210, aka the coldest loan officer on the planet, man. Um, at being that loan officer on all social media. So be sure y'all like, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. I'm here today with a special guest, man. I got Christian MLO in the building, man.
Yes,
You
sir.
know,
Yes, sir.
he's a fellow loan officer, a fellow Nexan as well. So we repping the brand, the biggest. We got the biggest team,
Hmm.
and some of the best products. So I had to. It's always collaboration over competition, So we here to give y'all a few nuggets, a few jewels, and I'm gonna pick his brain a little bit, and we gonna get it popping. Let's start off with the promos here, real quick. Start off with introduction. I'll let Christian introduce himself, and then we'll go get to the show real quick. Again, I'm Brandon B. Dixon. If this is your first time joining us, I am a mortgage broker by trade. I am a published author. My book, Sales the Nucleus of Any Profession, is out right now on Amazon. Go ahead, copy that. I am a serial entrepreneur and as well as a community activist. So if you're trying to get a mortgage, go to my website, applywithb.com. You can book me for a Zoom call, whatever you need to do. It's right there on the top upper left corner, so you can book me for a Zoom right there on the page. Again, go to my website, HoustonCondoSales.com. If you're trying to get a condo, high rise, or townhouse in the Houston area, it's for Houstonians by Houstonians. So we curated the best of the best. And go ahead and get on our mailing list so we can drop you new listings every time they drop. Challenge me. I got my own site where it has my rates 24/7. What's today's rates.com. So you got a pre-qual from Chase. Go ahead and uh, compare mine against yours. Go to what's today's race.com. Also, at BNL Loan Officer on YouTube, I got 3 new shows. Well, 2 new shows and a podcast. So, behind the sauce, where I'm showing you the actual behind the scenes footage, showing you how we are making this $1 million company from scratch. Also, I have House Tours Lux with me and CJ the Realtor, where we go into $1 million homes and show you all of the listings before they hit the actual MLS. So, House Tours Lux, Behind the Sauce, and the Power of Ownership podcast is now in its 6 years. So, y'all check that out. What else? The only other thing, go ahead, call me. You can call me 24/7, 832-775-8357. That is the business line. So, let's go ahead and get into it. Christian, I want the same length introduction, man. Tell them where they can find you. Tell them the whole nine.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that, Brandon. Thank you so much for having me on the show. My name is Christian Blandon. That's Christian with no H. No H for no hassle. Okay.
Right,
So
no
you can
doubt.
find me on Instagram at Christian MLO. You can find me on Twitter at Christian MLO, Facebook at Christian MLO, TikTok at my phone is always charged because it is.
Right.
And I got 2 YouTube channels coming up, closing with Christian and at My Lonely Life. Lonely is spelled Loanly.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much again, and I'm ready to get to it, man.
No doubt, no doubt. And if this is your first time tuning in the Power of Ownership podcast, we don't just talk about home ownership, even though that's a big component. We talk about business ownership, IP, the whole nine. Also, we talk about ownership of the mind, body, and soul. So just taking complete ownership all together. So we're gonna get into a few questions here, and we're gonna kind of, bounce some ideas and get to know Christian here. But the first one is the simple. How did you get in the business? Why mortgages? Why? Tell us your story.
Great, man. So it started back in 2016. I
Mm-hmm.
was knocking on doors, right? That was my job. I was canvassing, right? So I was a canvassing leader. I forgot what they used to call us, like street marketers or something. But
Mm-hmm.
regardless, I was marketing for a home remodeling company,
Mm-hmm.
right? A small team. I built a team of up to like 15 people. And then one day they took my team away from me and put me in a brand new market and wanted me to start all over, right?
Right.
We're talking maybe like 40 minutes away from where I live, an hour and 10 with traffic. And at this point, I already had enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm knocking on doors. People are slamming their doors in my face, 4 to 8. My evenings are gone every day, Monday through Friday, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I had a buddy of mine who I worked with. He only worked with the company for maybe about a month. This guy, he was a bit older than me. He was, a fly guy, always in name brand stuff. Drove a BMW, right? This was 2016, so I was 26, still fresh out of the military. And, I looked up to him as a kind of like a bigger brother,
Right.
right?
Right.
So we're in the summer. I'm knocking on doors. It's hot. I'm sweaty. I'm getting bit up by the bugs. And I hit him up. I'm like, hey, man, what are you doing? What's
Mm-hmm.
going on? How you been? And he's like, oh, he's good. He's back in the mortgage scene. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know what that was at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, is there good money in that? What is that? He's like, oh, yeah, man. He said, my best year, I did 1.2 million.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I needed to hear right there.
Right.
I quit that day. I took I signed up for the NMLS course that weekend. A week later, I was hired at the company.
Right.
And I haven't looked back since. This was August 2016.
Gotcha. And your friend that's in it, is he still in the business or
Yup, he's still in the business,
Right.
and he's a area sales manager, I think is what his title is. I don't know.
Gotcha. And where did you first start off? Where did you first start off when you first got in the business?
Where?
Yeah, where? Like what company? Did you start out retail, like loan officer,
Yeah.
banker?
Yup, it was a retail Fidelity Direct Mortgage. Well, a correspondent.
Gotcha, correspondent lender. Gotcha. All right, so since you've been in the business, let's talk about what's been the biggest challenges since you've been in the business.
Well, since every year is a new challenge,
Mm-hmm.
right? The first year, the challenge is getting realtors to trust me with their clients,
Right.
right? Then it's getting the client to trust me with my knowledge and my experience,
Mm-hmm.
right? Once I surpass those challenges, you've got another challenge, right? You got the pandemic challenge,
Mm-hmm.
right? All the business just coming in, missing calls,
Right.
right? Now these challenges is getting your client in a house because of the lack of inventory
Right.
or because of the high rates compared to where they were before if you were qualifying the same client.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. So every year in our business is different. There's a difference.
Every year is a new challenge. Yep,
Right. It's
absolutely.
something that you gotta do.
Yep.
So let me ask you this: what has been some of like your greatest success stories as far as what has been your greatest accomplishment since you've been in the business?
Just being able to help out other people buy houses and buying my own house. Those have been the biggest accomplishments for me. Buying my own house and helping other people that thought that could never buy a house. That's a bigger accomplishment than me buying my house.
Gotcha. Now you specialize in what, first time home buyers? Like what's your specialty? As you say you were in the military, so do you do VA? Like what's like what's your go to thing? Your go to loan?
First time home buyers,
First time
right,
home buyer.
is definitely going to be my go-to. I've been doing a lot of conventional recently, but veterans that has a sweet spot for me. Being a
Mm,
veteran myself, I made sure that I know that I read up on the VA loans, and I try to do more of those than anything.
gotcha. Especially in your area, in the DMV area as well, right? So that
Exactly. Yep.
yeah, a lot of people are stationed in Virginia, in that area coming out, and especially like the Marines and stuff like that. You
Yeah,
know,
you've got so many branches out here. You got the Army, you got the Navy, you got
right.
the Air Force. You got the Pentagon over here, all the government contractors. So there's definitely a lot of military in this area.
Gotcha. So let's turn it up a little bit. How would you say? I like to get philosophical on this. I just
Oh,
don't like to because everybody does. All right, this is earnest money. This is that gets boring. I like to get into the philosophical and let's give them some content, man. How important would you say is home ownership, and what does that mean to you? So you said that it was more important to help other people accomplish this, but how important is it? I'm going to talk about the whole diaspora. I'm talking about how it's important to an average family. What does it mean?
man, it means a lot,
Right.
right? Having your own place means you've got a peace of mind, right? That's your go-to. You don't have to worry about anyone kicking you out. You don't have to worry about anyone increasing the rent for you,
Mm,
constantly, renewing leases and thinking, where am I going to live next year?
right.
You know, and having a place for your family to grow, right? Those things are very important to me.
Right.
And And then on top of all that is the equity that you're building, the money that you're saving every month by putting it back into the house, right? Everyone always likes to compare, the renting versus buying, and they talk about how renting can be more expensive when you break down all the numbers. But at the end of the day, right, no matter how much you're spending on rent, you're never going to get that back.
Right, right. It goes to somebody else's last name as opposed to your last name. You're going to pay the mortgage regardless of whether you pay your mortgage or somebody
Exactly.
else's. You know,
Exactly.
so um, I would add though too, like what home ownership means to me is, and we gotta, especially in our community, kind of change the dynamic of the mind frame. It means financial freedom.
Mm.
And what I mean by that is that this is one of the only things that's going to keep appreciating. I give you an example. My house, is the first time starter house back in the day, about 10 years ago. At 185, now it's worth 360. It doubled in less than 10 years.
Mm.
So I have over $250,000 worth of equity. In my home. So if I was to rent for that 10 years, all that money's going out the drain.
Yup.
You know.
And another thing on top of that, Brandon, let's say you had 185 at that time, right? And you put the whole thing in the house, or
Right.
you put the whole thing in a bank account,
Hmm.
right? You probably have less money
Right.
in the bank
Right.
versus you do in the house.
Right. Right. Well, with the bank, they actually is they actually take your money and flip it
Exactly.
as opposed as opposed and they pay you like a percentage, 1%, less than a percent now.
Less exactly, less than.
For using your money.
Yup.
So that's one of that's what I tell people all the time. It's never smart to put money in the bank. You either want to, I believe in like the Grant Cardone method. You want to have money in storage, meaning that you're about to invest it, or you need to have money tied up in investments already. And real estate is the safest investment.
It is. Yeah.
You know,
Somebody's gonna
so
leave your place lit.
right, you're never gonna see somebody pick up a home and steal it.
No. Right. No. No, you're not.
So it's pretty safe. As long as you got your clear titles and everything like that. Um, the next question is, give me the biggest misconception about home ownership that you could come across, that you hear all the time on a day-to-day basis. What are some of the common mistakes? Like, nah, that's not true. What do you hear all the time?
All right. Okay. So, one of the most popular misconceptions is you need 20% down, which
Right,
I don't even know where that came from, right?
right.
I
I
just
don't.
When I got into the industry, I heard a lot of people thinking that, right? But
Right.
before I got in, I wasn't even really thinking about it. I was a veteran the whole time. In my I joined at 18, so I already knew that I can get a house with 0% down, right? Whatever
Mm-hmm.
that meant at the time, that's what I knew. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I think a big misconception is that just because you're a first time home buyer, you'll qualify.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people will come to me and, they may not qualify for either much or at all, but because they're a first time home buyer, they feel entitled to it.
Okay.
They'll repeat to me, well, I'm a first time home buyer. I understand that, but your DTI is this and your credit score is this, right? So I think one of the misconceptions is that just because you're a first time home buyer does
Mm-hmm.
not mean that you're immediately going to qualify for a house.
That's different because I usually, with first time home buyers, usually they think they don't qualify. You know.
Yeah, no, no, no. Yeah, I guess I get the opposite because
Yeah,
people think,
that's different. That's the first time I heard that one. So yeah, usually they a lot of people are qualified and they don't do it because they don't think they've been at the job enough. They don't think they make enough.
mm,
The whole nine. And I usually get that, especially the first time home buyer arena. They don't. It's like, man, the same money that you spending on this apartment, you could have a house with a backyard and everything like that. And then that, yeah, go ahead.
yeah, you know what? Now that you say that, I think it's when people want down payment assistance. I
Okay.
think that's where that comes in.
Right, right, right. Yeah.
The whole, oh, I'm a first time home buyer. I should qualify for down payment assistance. I think
Right.
that's where it comes
Right.
in.
They think they should automatically qualify for these grants.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah. So that they're entitled to these grants. And they don't understand that the grant, First of all, these a lot of these, especially in Texas, I'm not sure how it is in the DMV area, but a lot of these, they're nonprofit organizations,
Mm,
and they have their own set of rules.
mm.
So you have to go by their rules, and then in order to get their money, a lot of times they have their own interest rates as well.
They
So
do.
nothing, yeah, nothing is free. So you paying it back with the extra interest.
So I quoted somebody the other day,
Hmm.
and if they had gone with the down payment assistance, they'd be paying $400 more.
Right.
Right? We're talking about conventional clients, right? Conventional quality clients, 750 plus credit scores. So what we ended up doing, we ended up going conventional, 3% down, waiving escrows.
Hmm.
So now, are they not only paying that extra $400, whether if they would have gone the DPA route, they're getting lower private mortgage insurance, and they're waiving escrows, which is going to reduce their payment an additional like $400.
Right. Right.
And that's something that we can do, Brandon, at Nexa.
Right. Right.
You know,
Break that down because that's a good segue to the next line of questioning. Because I want to switch it a little bit more to the investor side and business side, and a lot of people don't understand the business about home ownership. So let's tilt a little bit. Tell them the difference between bankers and brokers. And do you think, like, as far as a loan officer just getting in the business, if you want to get in the business, what do you think the best way to go? Because I think, being a broker is more like owning your own business.
100%.
Right.
So we're talking about other LOs now.
Right. Let's talk about.
Oh, listen, man, listen. So I've worked at great companies, right? Great people, right?
Mhm.
First company I worked at, Fidelity Direct Mortgage, great company, great people.
Right.
I've worked at Caliber Home Loans. I've
Mhm.
worked at
So did I.
Guarantee Rate Affinity, and I worked at NFM Lending, right?
Right.
But working at Nexa is a complete game changer. Being a broker, working with 180 plus different lenders, getting paid after funding, 24 to 48 hours.
Right.
Um, just the systems that we have is so easy.
Right. The support.
The support, man, the support
Right.
is crazy.
Right.
You got direct support from the lenders,
Right.
right? That you can get in at any time. You got direct support from staff if you need help with any HR stuff.
Right.
The training that you getting flown out to UWM every month for training.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen
Penny
it.
Mac too now. I see.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Penny
I
Mac's
heard
out there in California, flying people out. I see. I'm gonna have to get on that.
Yeah, right. Let me know when you get on there. We'll meet up over there.
Right. And they're in California. I think they're in the Valley or something, right?
I didn't know. You're just telling me right now. All
Right.
right,
I seen them on Facebook. I was like, man,
Okay.
yeah. So I'm gonna check into that myself.
Okay. So, being this is gonna be my 7th year in mortgages, right?
Mhm.
And man, I wish I would have known about Nexa
Right.
when Nexa came out. I
Right.
wish I would have started Nexa. That's how
Right.
good it is,
Right.
So if anybody has any doubts, anybody just wants a second opinion, they should definitely join the White Nexa call. You can hit up Brandon. You can hit up myself. Depending what area you're in, but definitely on a business standpoint, this is the way to go.
Well, that's the next question. That's what I wanted to get into. Seeming that where we're at as far as home ownership, the mentality of everybody, and everybody don't treat home ownership as a business. LOs, don't forget that a lot of people have a 9 to 5 mentality. So the question is owning a business, is business ownership right for everybody?
No,
All right. So that's the question. Explain.
no.
Elaborate.
Yeah. Okay. So, Nexa is definitely for the big dogs. I think,
Right.
right? The people that are self-sufficient, self-producing. Now, again, I came in at year 6, right? So I knew how to originate a loan.
Mm-hmm.
I knew what made sense,
Mm-hmm.
right? I just didn't know the Nexus system. It took me about maybe two months to really learn it. By month 3, I was running. Um, but Nexus is definitely for the big dogs. I think now they do have a Nex Academy, right, for beginners.
Right.
I didn't have to go through that, so I can't speak on it. But this isn't the 9 to 5 job.
Right. Right.
It's just not in my.
That's what I'm trying to get into. Like, there's definitely a different mind frame from the W-2 employee to the entrepreneur.
Which I just switched to, by the way. I just switched
Right.
over to 1099.
1099.
Too.
Right. So that meant the mentality of clocking in and clocking out. You have, A to B to do, and this is your job. You do A to B. It's different. It's different on this side where there is no rules. It's your own creativity that's gonna
I'm telling
get
you, yup.
get. There's a higher upside on this side, but a lot of people hop in and expect that structure of somebody telling them what to do.
No, that's why it's for the big dogs.
Right.
You got to know where, you just got to know your stuff, man, when you
Right.
come over here.
Right. And you got to be creative enough to actually create the actual systems and create the actual your own marketing and own buzz to actually get the business in, because it's all about relationships.
All about relationships.
Whatever business that you go into is all about creating relationships.
Yep.
So you just can't, hey, I open up shop, I open up a restaurant, y'all come do me, y'all come do business with me because I'm me.
Mm-mm.
Even if you have good food, people got to know who you are.
People got to taste it.
Right. People got to taste it. People got to know who you are, know where you are, know when you're open, and so on and so forth. Service, the whole diaspora of things equal business. And a lot of people, I don't know if they want to step in this arena. A lot of people don't want this smoke.
And listen, man, they can't handle it either, because people call me, they try to recruit me, right? And I always
Right.
ask them, like, I'm a nice guy, right? I never directly blow anyone off.
Right.
If I've got the time, I'll talk to them and I'll run numbers with them. And listen, man, it hasn't made sense yet. Of all the people I've talked to, the numbers haven't made
Right.
sense.
Right.
You get paid less over there at the other companies. You have higher rates. You have less control.
Mhm.
You get paid either once a month or every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks. Yep.
I mean, it just doesn't make sense, right? And that's why. But again, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a
Right.
business owner now, right?
Right.
So that lifestyle wouldn't make sense to me.
Well, they have a place. Retail has a place if you're still in that W-2 mind frame.
Mm-hmm.
So it has that structure to where you have direct reports and people telling you what to do. So you got less control, like you said. It's almost like training wheels. When you have that bike with training wheels, you can't peel off. You can't drift. You can't do a lot of stuff with those training wheels on it.
Yep.
But when you free range, you can do a lot more things on it. But it does have a place for that person that's that hybrid that is scared to jump in the deep end and become that business owner, and it still have that 9 to 5 mentality.
Yep. I agree.
So it's almost like you're working remote, basically.
Exactly. Yep.
But I say that to say this is that when you come on the broker side, I think brokers are better. However,
100%.
it's mind frame. It's mind frame. In order to make it on this side, you got to have the mind frame of this is my business.
Absolutely. Yep.
So that brings us to the next question. So we had a part of this last night. We talked about social media and how it impacts our business. I know you're pretty big on social media as well.
Thank you.
How does social media impact our business, and what's the importance of it?
For me, it's important, right? Because my generation is on social media,
Right.
right?
what I told
That's where a lot of my generation is going to see me, and this is something where I can express myself, I can promote, I can create for free, I can advertise for free,
Right.
right? This isn't mailers. This
Right.
isn't putting my face on a newspaper ad or
Right.
something old school like that,
Right.
right? I have access to millions of people for free,
Right.
right? Right now, I have access to 10.8 thousand plus people and their followers when they reshare my stuff, right?
Well, exponentially because you get a post that's high, you could go viral and they can share it.
Exactly. Exactly.
So you have the potential to reach
Millions.
millions of people.
Yep.
You know, so what we talked about last night, to kind of, if y'all didn't tune in, we're talking real estate every Tuesday night on all the channels as well, and I have a panel of, local and, well, now everybody kind of getting on. I have a panel of real estate professionals that come on, and that's all we talk about is real estate. But some people are against, and some people are for it, and the argument last night, the people that's kind of against it are just stuck in a time warp. So they just hadn't adapted to the new age. This is like it's evolved now. Instagram is like a commercial.
It is.
It's like a commercial all the time. It's promoting business. Somebody selling something.
Yep, absolutely.
And nobody's on. Nobody has direct TV anymore in my area. Nobody has Comcast. Everybody has Hulu.
Yep.
YouTube TV, Sling, Amazon. They get those streaming services. That way, you could a la carte pick what you want to watch.
Yep.
And everything has become compartmentalized. Now the new age is that, hey, I search for, home ownership online. That those pixels pick up what I'm looking for, and then as I run my targeting ads through your social media. So every time you actually scroll through your social media, go through a YouTube, my commercial is going to pop up. So you've already raised your hand and said, I'm looking for this. So I'm going to shoot my ad to you until you actually, I'm going to retarget you until you actually click on my ad.
And eventually they will. There's a higher chance of them clicking your ad than, them seeing you on something else.
Right. Because think about it. The old school way is you're knocking on doors.
Mm-hmm.
Cold calling,
text
messaging, emailing, all that stuff is outdated now.
Yeah, it is.
Because knocking on doors, they got ring. They're not gonna come to the door no more.
Yeah, they see you before you even come in.
Before they even come in, so like, what do you want?
Yep.
Talk to me right here via camera.
Yep.
So cold calling, people have filters. I have filters on my cell phone. If I get spam, I'm not gonna answer.
Yep. Same here.
Text message. Keller Williams, like Mike Cordes said, the CEO of Nexus said, Keller Williams just got sued for $40 million for doing those text messages. To people that's on the do not disturb list. So that the laws have gotten text messages out the way. Email goes straight to spam.
Yep.
Direct mail is the people like me when I open my mail over the garbage can.
I got a shredder downstairs, right next to the garbage can. Yep.
So direct mail is you wasting your money.
Yep.
So people, when they want you, they're gonna look for you. And how do they do that? Through social media.
The internet.
Right.
And when you have more platforms than one, it's easier to spot. And now you look like you're popping more because you're everywhere.
Right, exactly. So this is what I was saying as well. I was seeing if you agree that even the habits of how people consume is different than it was 10, 20 years ago. So what I mean by that is that when people are going to go on HAR, which is our HAR.com, that's in Texas. That's our Redfin and our Zillow.
Okay.
So they go on, or they go on Zillow or Redfin. Okay. They see a house.
Okay.
They're gonna put that address in Google to see what else comes up. And then from there, let's say they like the house and want to see it. They look at that agent, and then they're gonna check out that agent.
Yeah.
And the agent don't have anything going. They might or might not call that person, or they don't like. The agent has no digital footprint. They might never call them.
Yeah.
So they're gonna check you out first before you even get the call.
Yeah.
So, and nowadays people go by like you just said. The more they see you, the more popular they think you are.
Listen, clout is currency.
Right.
So
Nowadays.
Nowadays. So if you got some type of clout on social media, on the internet, people are going to want to work with you.
Right. And eyeballs equal money, because that's the more eyeballs on you, the more money you, because I'm damn near 60-70% of leads I generated, they come from social media.
Yeah, absolutely.
They see me, because, the first chapter of my book is called Reciprocity. People don't understand that what marketing is. People think marketing is promoting. And that's not the case. Promoting is promoting. Promoting is about 20% of marketing. Marketing is creating a market for yourself.
Mm.
How do you do that? The activity, you have to set up reciprocity. My mentor always used to say, you have to make a deposit before you make a withdrawal.
Mm.
And how do you make that deposit? You give them content.
Mm.
You make them laugh. You entertain them. You educate them. Then from there, when you give people something, they feel obligated to do something for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when they are in the market, that's when they people, hey man, I've been watching you for a while. Hey, I'm finally ready.
Yeah.
So and that's how this is what's going on nowadays. That's the new age.
Yeah.
Let's get to the last topic, and then we go ahead because it's right at the 25-minute mark here.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
What do you think? I know the question is ego, but why do you think a lot of people ego prevent them from evolving into this new era, into the new way of people would rather almost starve to death than embrace social media. People rather starve to death than try new things. Like what do you say to that? Like does people ego deter them from advancing in business?
Yes. Simply put, yes.
Right.
And the ego is a wall,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
And that wall is what stops them from seeing the other side of what could be if they put their ego down.
Right.
Right? There's some people that don't want to work with a certain group of people because of their ego,
Right.
or they don't want to do a certain type of marketing because of their ego, because they didn't start doing that. They were successful without it. Now they're not, but because they were at one point, they feel that they don't need to do that, right?
Right.
I mean, people's ego will be their downfall, essentially.
Right. Right.
Right? Like, I like to think that my ego is not that high. My confidence is very high.
Right.
My ego isn't. I'm always willing to adapt and change and learn.
Right. Right. That's what my mentor always used to say. Like the only thing that's constant is change. So you can't. What you used to do 10 years ago might not work today.
No, absolutely not.
So you got to be constantly changing. You always want to think 10 years ahead, not 10 years behind. And a lot of people still in 2012.
Yeah.
And they still with the same mentality. Like that's not gonna work. People still talking about cold calling. People still. I got a list, bro. That's not gonna work. You're gonna do a lot to get a little. Yes, something. If you do it enough, something it will work a little bit. But the technology has come where there's more effective ways of doing stuff.
Yes.
It just is what it is. So to kind of wrap it up. With our business, and I want to get your final thoughts on this. With our business, it's mainly you're a marketer and you're a salesman and a marketer. Period.
That's it.
Period. Like a lot of people, I'm an agent. I got all these, designations behind my name and all this stuff. You're a salesperson.
Mm-hmm. All the accolades.
Yeah. You're a marketer. That's the blocking and tackling of our profession. Sales and marketing. That's it.
100%, because you got to be able to sell the product,
Right.
and you got to be able to market that product, right? What's the product? Mortgages, loans,
Right.
right? You got to sell your stuff. You got to market yourself. You're absolutely right.
Right. So a lot of people think they want to be a real estate agent and don't embrace sales, or you think there's a marketing department. You're it. That's it. You got to know how to market yourself.
Because as an agent or as an LO, right? While we do have to give these products out, right? These mortgages, they can't just call and get a mortgage from anyone, so to speak, right?
Right.
Like you can with a pizza, right? You call any pizza, any Domino's, you're gonna get a pizza.
Right.
It's not the same with mortgages.
Right. Well, if they had a way to use artificial intelligence to replace us, they would. You're not going to be high-end sales is always going to be around because you cannot defeat or you cannot replace the human touch.
Yeah, no, people need a human touch for this type of transaction.
Right. This is a lot of times this is some of the biggest transactions and people want to talk to a human.
Yeah.
People want somebody to laugh at their jokes. People want somebody to compliment their kids. Or compliment that new Rolex they got.
Yep. Yep.
So we are in the sales and the people business.
I,
Period.
yeah. Yeah. We're not. I don't think we're gonna not see that anytime soon.
Right. That's why I say get my book. Sales the nucleus of any profession, because sales needs to be a trade that they teach in trade schools.
I agree. I agree. I teach my
Because
children sales.
right, you could always go if you know how to sell people. Anytime you get in a jam, you can always go to a furniture store and make you some quick dough. On commission. You can always go to any sales floor and make you a card lot and make you some quick money right fast.
Yeah.
So it's a trade.
It is. Yeah. You got to know how to do it. You got to know how to do it.
You have to know how to close. You have to know how to. So anybody that's looking at this that wants to be on this side and wants to get into um, loans or be a loan officer, I'm definitely recruiting. But hey, have the mind frame first of all as an entrepreneur, and be willing to drop the ego and know that you're a marketer and a salesperson.
Yeah.
That's it. All the other stuff is cap. All other stuff is fancy terms for.
It is. It is.
Right. That's what we do.
Yeah.
That's what we do. So I'm not gonna keep you too long. Final thoughts, man. What's the last question is what's your plans for 2023 and beyond? What's your goal for growing the business?
Content and education, man. I'm going harder on the content. I know we've been following each other for a little while now. I know you've seen the different content that I've been putting out.
Right.
More of that.
Right.
And education, doing a lot of first-time homebuyer seminars, hitting the community hard, letting them know that it is possible to buy, letting them know the truths and not the myths of home ownership, right?
Gotcha.
Your minimum investment requirement is that 3.5% down.
Right.
If you can get the closing costs covered, then we're good.
Sometimes really you can come away with a check. But you gotta have some money though. You can't just be flat broke and get a home. You're gonna have to have your appraisal. You're gonna have to have your earnest money.
Right.
You're gonna have to have inspection. However, if you get down payment assistance and you get the seller concessions, sometimes I've done more times than not where you get that earnest money rebated.
Yep.
You get everything that you put into besides the inspection back at closing. If there's land if there's overages after everything's said and done.
Yep. And that's what I'm trying to teach them, letting them know that it's not as expensive as you think, right? 3.5% down is only $3,500 for every 100,000.
Right.
$10,000 isn't as hard to save as it was.
Right.
However many years ago, right?
Well, yeah, especially with the $15 chicken sandwiches they have nowadays.
Well, it depends. If you're eating a lot of it, it might be a little hard, but
right.
Yeah.
They $8.95 for a dozen eggs right now.
Yeah.
So
that's why you got to have chickens now.
Right. So it's yesterday's price is not today's price.
Hey, I love that one, man. Yesterday's price is not today's price.
And we talked about this on a couple of shows ago. Like, man, we got to get focused on. We still stuck in 10 years ago prices. It's like 2,100 is like in my area. That's the entry point. For rent, anything. So the $1,500 apartments are gone.
Oh yeah. You're not getting those.
Right, unless I'm talking about. Let me rephrase that. Unless $1,500 apartments in a nice neighborhood.
There we go.
Are gone.
There we go. Yeah.
So the nice apartments.
You're right.
You get some in the hood.
With the floor to ceiling windows, everybody
right.
likes all that. Yeah, that 2,100 is that entry point.
Right. So, and that's what rent's going up. Everything's going up, man. So I'm not gonna keep you too long.
I appreciate it.
Let's go ahead and tell them where they can find you again.
Absolutely, man. So my Instagram is at Christian MLO. You're gonna see it right down here. That's probably gonna be the best way to find me. If you can find me there, you can find me anywhere.
Gotcha.
All my information is on there.
Numbers, website you want to give out?
Yep. My number is 703-477-9496. My phone is always charged. My website is onlyloans.com. You can find me there. And if you're ever trying to pick up merch, I do got the sweaters out,
Right. No doubt.
So,
got his own swag. Y'all, where can they pick up a sweater?
They can hit me up on Instagram, or they can hit the link on my Instagram too.
Gotcha. Because a lot of people, Rogers, on the replay for some reason, You know,
They
so
what?
a
Oh,
lot
oh,
of
they
people
watch on
watch
the
the
replay.
replay.
Okay,
So
okay.
if you look, I just got another check from Facebook unexpectedly today.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, it's like
Congratulations.
I'm starting to get these $600 checks from Facebook. So people watch us. If you stroll on my Facebook, you look. Oh, they got views. So
Oh, that's what's up.
they watch
Congrats.
us on the replay. I'm trying to. I guess I have to be consistent in order for the watch us live. But
Yeah.
people watch us on the replay more than they watch us live.
Okay. Okay.
So that's why I've asked you to repeat it because they might catch the end of it. You know what I mean?
Oh,
And
I
that,
see. I
yeah.
see. Yeah.
So all right. So I'm gonna do my little last promotion, then we can get out of here. But
Yes, sir.
all right. So man, this is the biggest thing ever. We got on March 11th. I put together the collaboration of a competition investment club. So we got a networking event at Tribeca, Houston, 2222 Emancipation Avenue. This is going to be the first time ever we got three industries all under one roof. We're going to have the big dogs, the ballers, the shot callers, all in one roof. In real estate, so check me and Feng Trung. He's the other branch manager of Nexa here in Texas. I mean, here in Houston. So we collab together. So we're going to have us on the real estate side, plus a couple of developers. I'm big into dog breeding, so we're gonna have some of the biggest Frenchie breeders in the state there. And then I don't know if anybody knew that Texas is now accepting applications for a dispensary. So cannabis in Texas is about to be legal in the next few months. So now until April 28th, they're taking applications for dispensaries. So we want to be on the front edge of that to get into that business. So once it goes legal, so we're gonna have the top cannabis people flying in from L.A. to teach us about dispensaries. So it's gonna be epic. So we got all of people, a whole bunch of money in one room at one time. So collaboration of a competition. Y'all hit me up. I have the tickets. I'm only gonna do 250 of them. So everybody else, boom, you're gonna be have to wait till next time. But this is gonna be the biggest event out there. If you want to make that passive income, you want to get into flipping houses, you want to get into different businesses that make money, that's lucrative. We all gonna be in one spot brainstorming and masterminding to make that bank, the bag up this year. So with that being said, man, we're gonna see y'all next time, man. Peace.
Yes, sir.